Hello everyone and welcome, Spencer here, and this has finally arrived. This has finally arrived for me. Yeah, I was hoping it was turn up last week, but it hasn't. It's turned up this week. So I'm just going to open it, go through what's in the box, speak about some of the lovely cards inside this pre-con, what I want to do with it, some of my thoughts around it, and then when I've actually decided in myself how I want to, or where I want to take this deck and how I want to build it, then I'll do a more in-depth video on that. One of the things I'm torn about with this deck is whether to keep it more on flavour or actually take it more towards power. You know, it is the villains deck, so I really want it to be disgusting and powerful, but then I also don't want to lose the flavour of what it is, being a Universes Beyond product and doing these villainous choices and stuff like that. So it's finding that sweet spot in the middle of what I want to do, and I guess that also is going to affect what commander I pick to have as my front commander. When the cards were first spoiled for Doctor Who, just before we get started, Missy, I was just like, yeah, this is going to be amazing. You can make her into a powerhouse. You're just going to force people to sacrifice creatures over, just get all that value back. They're not going to take the damage, so you're just going to keep drawing more cards, you know. So yeah, and if they do take damage, it just speeds up the game. I'm not one for having slow games. So I was all about Missy. The only problem with her was she was like 6 mana. If she was like 4 mana, I'd have been like definitely 100%. But I'm now leaning a bit more towards Davros, but there is some Cyberman synergies that I quite like, so I'm not sure where it's going to go. Let's just get into the pack opening. So first off, pack. Yeah, it's quite nice, clear. I like how they've cleared this bit up now as well. So it's collector booster sample pack. It clearly says includes collector booster sample pack. And, you know, but it does say +2 legendary traditional foils. I assume that just means the 2 legendary foils which you get in here. So it's still a little bit grey in some areas, but it's better than it says contains collector boosters sample pack. So yeah, yeah. This obviously goes over Plane Chase as well on the back. This says Davros about it. It says 100 card deck with 50 new cards, Plane Chase cards, 10 double-sided tokens. You know, you get a planar die in this as well. Your foil edge commander, your life wheel, your deck box, your strategy insert, and a reference card. Deck box is absolutely useless because once you've actually sleeved up your cards, you can't fit them in here. Also, I never actually know the best way to open this. I know on some of the previous ones there was a peel strip on the bottom. It doesn't seem to have that now, so I'm going to go for the top. Looks like that actually might be wrong as well. Oh, okay, no, there's a flap. We'll go with this and see what happens. I'm not sure if that is the right way. What is the intended way of opening this? Should we open it from the bottom? Let's open it from the bottom. I'm sorry if this sounds absolutely awful on the microphone. Unboxing is not my usual thing, as I don't normally buy products like this. I'm very much a singles person. So yeah, it seems like opening the bottom was the way to go. So let's slide all that out. And there we go. I can slip that on my shelf and feel special about it. So we have a little Missy token here. Cards are all in here. What is this bit? We've got a nice envelope. Oh, look at that. That's actually quite a nice feeling envelope. Very nice, thank you, Watsy. We have the collector booster sample pack. We have our Plane Chase cards. I think there is different Plane Chase cards in each one. I do have the other Timey-Wimey one. I got the Timey-Wimey and the Masters of Evil one. So at least I'll have 20 planes, or planes to shift from. So we'll have a look at those. This is the deck box. As you can see, not much room in there for anything. Let's have a look. So that's my sleeved up deck. Or maybe you will just get a sleeved deck in there. It'll be very tight. These are Dragon Shield teal ones, is it? Or oil? Can't remember what they're called. Petrol, maybe it was petrol. Oh, we've got so we've got Missy on the front here. We've got Davros here on the back. Is that because they're two of the commanders within this precon? We've got the cards, and oh, we've got our planar die. There we go. Looks like a little off-white colour. Almost looks a little bit green. Don't know if you can pick that up on the camera. Maybe it's just the lighting in this room. But yeah, let's leave Chaos on the front, because why not? I do like how they've tried to incorporate tokens and bits into this to make it more useful. But still, what do you even use these for? Like TARDIS counters. What do we need TARDIS counter for? We don't need TARDIS counters. We need +1/+1 counters in this deck. Maybe that would have been useful to have. So yeah. Anyway, let's put that away. Don't need that. There's also another thing. Like, if that packaging was thought out better, you wouldn't need this filler. Just change your fold lines. Change your fold and cut lines. Dear. Oh, life wheel. Who's on the life wheel? Oh, we've got Missy on the life wheel. I assume each one has a different one, or maybe everybody has Missy, because she's the master. But yeah. Oh, that's annoying as well. You start on 40 life, and it's on the back, and it's not till you get down to 20 that you actually get Missy. Interesting. I don't know if the wheel's just been mounted the wrong way around on this. Yeah, it looks like that's the smooth surface, like it should be the front, and it's not been mounted correctly. Little interesting thing there. Cards. We're all here for the cards. Oh, what's this? Is this just the... Oh, it just goes over the commander rules, plane chase, and a bit about Missy and Davros. So Missy and Davros are clearly meant to be the main commanders of this set, product, and the... Is it Ashnod, the Cyberman? Is obviously not meant to be. So yeah, so we'll have a quick flip through this and open these up. Now there has been a few cards released within this set of Doctor Who, and they are looking like they're going to become staples. Mainly the one that is all that everybody lives, everybody survives. And that is because it's basically essentially a counter to Thassa's Oracle, because it stops them from winning on the spot. But also, I picked this up the other day. Tail's End. Counter target activated ability, triggered ability, or legendary spell. Thassa's Oracle is an ability that triggers when it enters the battlefield. That costs 2 mana. Everybody Lives also costs 2 mana. You know, so I'm just saying there was ways to stop Thassa's beforehand, people. You know, and this card is not useless in Commander. You don't just play it just because somebody else is playing Thassa's. It also counters a legendary spell. I wonder who has a legendary spell in Commander. Play blue, people. Play blue. Anyway, here we go. I don't know how they order all these cards. When they pack these, maybe they do it in number order. No, they don't, because it goes 1 to 8 to 53. Okay, so maybe it's like in... Okay, so here are the two commanders. We've got Missy and Davros. I am really quite torn between who I do. Missy, I want to make it into a plane chase deck, but also at the same time, mainly because I just want the Chaos Ensues ability. But also, I think she could potentially be the more oppressive of the decks, with Dictator of Erebos, and then just creatures like Plaguecrafter and stuff like that. So you just force people to sacrifice constantly. If you've got then like Phyrexian Altar, stuff like that, you sacrifice your things to make mana. They then have to sacrifice their stuff. If you've got like a Dictator of Erebos out, like it can be really oppressive. So it's almost becomes like a control deck, because you sacrifice your board, so everyone else has to sacrifice their board, which then means you get the more Cybermen on your board, which then means that you'll either be dealing damage on your end step through the Villainous Choice, or you'll be drawing more cards to be able to do more things. I think the deck in itself has loads of targeted removal, so it's clearly thought out that was going to be part of the game plan. But but I don't think I want to do that within this deck. I think I want to do that as a separate thing, although I like the idea of doing that Missy Cyberman thing within this deck because it's a good flavour, and there's all that, was it the Death in Heaven episode where she turned Danny Pink into a Cyberman, and I think, what's his name, comedian guy, played Smithy. Yeah, that guy. He was in Gavin and Stacey. He wrote it with the other woman. Yeah, he was in one of the episodes, wasn't he? I think he became a Cyberman. But yeah, Davros, I think, at a more casual table will be better because essentially he's got menace, so he's harder to block. He's 3/4, so he's got a decent butt, so he doesn't die so easily. And then also he triggers at the beginning of your end step, so the turn you play him, as long as nobody kills him straight away. I quite like that fall in as well. Ooh, nice, subtle. Yeah, so when the turn you play him, he triggers on the end step. Yeah, and obviously if somebody loses 3 or more life, then you get your villainous choice as well as. So yeah. So yeah, and it also, if you've got the Veil Yard out as well, you trigger that villainous choice twice. Then obviously you can then start to look at getting benefits from people discarding cards and stuff like that. And if you want to go down that route, or you could just go down the make loads of Daleks routes. So yeah, 2 very different ways of building the deck, I think, with these. But it's just what you want to do. Silence. I'm surprised Silence wasn't done as a commander, or had some more love in terms of cards. So yeah, Silence was a great monster within the Matt Smith area. We've got Zygons, Don't Blink, Exterminate, Dalek Squadron, Dalek. So Taran General, the Great Intelligence's Plan. This is just going to be like a massive hit or a massive miss, by the way. Like, because if they give you the chance to play something, then it's just like you best have something in your hand, you know. Cybermans, Cybermat, Clockwork Droid, Crusader Shuttle, Laser Screwdriver. That is the Master's Sonic. Arcane Signet. I like how this is like, is it Raspharian? Soul Ring, which is obviously the, I think, is this the Paradox? Thought Vessel, that's the Master's Pocket Watch. Mindstone, which is just a Cyberman. I've got Lightning Greaves, which is obviously just a great reprint. Propaganda, which is a bit of a pillow fort card. It's the only one in this deck, I think. I've not gone over the deck list recently. But if you are wanting to get a couple more cards like this to protect yourself so people aren't attacking you as much, so you can sit back and do those villainous choice, you could then make it as a bit more of like a voting deck. Some of the cards as well that I think are going to be quite good that have come out of these precons, or this set I should say, is the Auton Soldier. The stuff that copies things and then it isn't legendary. We've seen how broken that can be when you copy stuff and then it's not legendary. You can make some absurd board states. So I think there's a few of these copiers, and I think they are going to be quite a few sleepers and allow people to get some more copies on the board. Cyber Conversion. This is also quite a good removal card. Target creature face down. It's a 2/2 Cyberman artifact creature token. Or just, sorry, not token, just artifact creature. You know, they've got a giant dragon on the board, you know, like, or just something pesky that's like triggering Blood Artisan or something like that, that's triggering constantly because they've got an Aristocrats theme. You know, just turn it over. You don't have that ability anymore. You're just a 2/2 Cyberman, you know. And then they've got to attack with it, and then somebody's got to kill it for it to go to graveyard before they can like get it back. Hunted by the Family. I think this is too much mana. Maybe in some casual pods it'll be alright, but too much mana, I think. Daleks can fly. Daleks can fly. Indestructible Shadow. I don't know if that's actually going to do anything. The Time Reaper. I actually just watched that episode. I've been rewatching the Christopher Eccleston episodes. He used to be my favourite Doctor. It's a really sad episode. That is really sad episode. Doomsday Confluence. Toymaker. Toymaker is an enemy coming back in the new series for the 15th Doctor. Don't know this guy. Genesis of the Daleks. Death in Heaven, yeah, that was that episode I was on about. They turned Danny Pink, and I think they stood in the graveyard at the end of it, and everybody's like teleporting up to heaven, which is actually just this spaceship in the sky. We've got Delete, Ensnare. Oh yeah, each player faces a villainous choice. Day in the Moon. Oh, this is the Patient Zero one, I think, is it? Oh no, that's not the Patient Zero one. Well, Master Multiplied. I think this is going to be a potential good card. I'm interested to see actually where this goes in CEDH. Yes, it's 6 mana, but if you can get it out and protect it and then start doing the multiplying by attacking with the Myriad, CEDH can't really deal with creatures that much. It might really shake the format up, but I say that in reality, people will just hold up a counter spell and counter this before it comes down. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. The Master of the Mesmerist. Oh, it gains Skulk. Rassilon, that's the guy who's on the Arcane Signet. Gallifrey's End. Veilguard, this is the one that allows you to vote an additional time, so it could just be good for like voting matters decks and stuff like that, as long as you're in Grixis Cruisers. Weeping Angel, I quite like this card. It's flash, it's first strike, it's vigilance, so you can flash it in, you can block something, it deals damage to that creature, and then that creature goes to their owner's library. Not into the graveyard or into exile, just goes back into their library, which is great. It's kind of a representation of what the Weeping Angel is, of being lost in time. The only downside is that whenever an opponent plays a creature, this is no longer a creature until end of turn. So see what happens with that card. Could be quite good and pesky, but you know, it could be that someone's played a creature, got to make sure I attack this turn to get in. A lot of people have been speaking about the Beast. I'm not quite sure of him. Yes, it's great to gain control of target creatures. You know, it gains haste and menace, so you can attack in, and then if you've got an altar of some sort, you could sack it. So not really my type of thing. Rani. Oh, this is the one that creates aura enchantments. Like, no thanks. This is quite good, a commander one. I thought this was going to actually be legendary, but it's not. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent faces a villainous choice. That opponent discards all the cards in their hand and then draws that many cards -1, or this deals damage to that player equal to the number of cards in their hand. So you penalise people for having a lot of cards and slowly wheel them down. Got another mill card here. A lot of people have been talking about this, like, oh, just make infinite mana, then mill everybody. It's like, yeah, okay. Just making infinite mana is like it is a fairly easy thing to do in Commander, but it's like a setup then required to do that, to then cast this one card. It's like Christmas Land. Cult of Skaro, so these are the 4 guys. Thing that makes this card bad is just the fact that they're all at random. You know, choose one of these at random. It's just not cool. This is your Dalek Payoff. Oh, this is Ashnad as well, which is your Cyberman. So whenever you sacrifice another creature, put a +1/+1 counter on Ashnad. Just says, notice it says another creature. Doesn't specify token or non-token. So if you've got Missy, you can make lots of Cybermen, and then all of a sudden this is almost going to get a lot better, because you can sack those creatures to get the Cybermen, to then sack those Cybermen to make mana with an altar or something like that. We've got Blink, the good old David Tennant and Sally, and Master Formed Anew as well. I think this is potentially good as a commander. So it becomes like a bit like a toolboxy commander, because you're going to play this, you're going to exile a creature you control, put takeover count on it. This comes in as a copy of that creature. Then obviously your commander dies, you come, you do it again, and it's like, do I want the original creature or do I want this creature now? You know, and you can start to build up a bit of a synergy with it, but how good that would actually be, probably be a bit slow, a bit dirtly. And then if you play something else and you want to get your commander back, you know, you're just like, oh, okay, because you've got to cast your commander, you can't just blink it. It enters the battlefield, you can choose one of the cards with a takeover counter on it, but to put a takeover counter on something, you've got to cast it. Payoff for your Cyberman squadrons. Non-legendary artifact creatures you control have Myriad. So yeah, just allows your Cybermen to multiply. You've got your Cyber Ship, which is crew 4, which is only 2 Cybermen because they're 2/2s. Wound Reflection is great as well, especially with something like Davros. So if you can deal 3 damage to an opponent, The wounds reflecting in play obviously going to be taking 6 because I'm taking another 3 at the end of the turn. You know. What else we've got? We've got Blast from the Sack, Solemn Simulacrum, which is the sad robot from the Smile episode. I think that was 13th Doctor, the new one. Or was it Matt Smith one? Can't remember. Sound of Drums, which is obviously this is the Master. All the different forms of the Master. Because they put the sound of the drums in his head. Lands, right. Some interesting land choices in this deck. So we've got the Field Lands. Reveal a swamp or mountain card from your hand. Yeah, just remember that this one specifically, reveal a swamp or mountain from your hand. I think there's only 6 basics in this deck. Is it 4 or 6 in this one? And out of all the other dual ones, I don't think any of them have the swamp or mountain type. So this is just a tapped land. Yeah, you need to be running way more basics for this to be actually beneficial. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. Tap and add blue. If you played a land this turn, you add black instead. It's just something extra, something that you have to keep track of, and your opponents have to keep track of. Like, no thanks. Too much effort. Too much work. Don't make me do homework. Smaller Martian, let's just tap into 2 or more basic lands. So, there we go. Here we've got a swamp and mountain. So you could reveal this one. So there's 1 swamp mountain plus your basics. So this enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. Very specifically basic lands, not just 2 or more lands. Reveal a swamp or an island. You know, we've got another swamp and island here. Enters field tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. So these trigger the other ones that care about the lands types, but they all would be beneficial with more basics in the deck. Got another filter here. This is just a cycle line land. This is just another temple. Enters the battlefield tap cycles. Exotic Orchard. This is good. Yeah, this is inside a TARDIS, I believe, is it? Or is this underneath Skaro? I can't remember. Another temple. Reveal an island or mountain. 2 more other lands. There we go. So this is better. So Stormcast into the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands. Other lands is better, so they don't need to be basic because there's lots of non-basics in this deck. Fiery Islet. These are the Modern Horizons lands that have been reprinted in this set. I think this is the only one within this set. This is something that WotC have done, and I'm not quite sure why. This is a 3-colour deck. You could have 3 of these in this deck, and that would be better than some of these tapped ones, or these tapped ones, you know? So that's the other lands one, Swamp or Islands. You know, like they could have put the 3 of those. If they're going to reprint these across the entirety of the sets, then just reprint all 3 of them. You know, just put them in the product and make it better, because now that's 2 extra cards we're going to have to buy from the secondary market. You know, it's just a hassle for players. But anyway, interesting, there was a comment somebody made about that. I don't know if it was Gavin, excuse me, Gavin Verhey. And he basically said, oh yeah, it's going to be coming, better lands in Commander decks is going to be coming. It's just going to take a couple of years type of thing. So I wonder if it's a reprint equity value type thing that they could do it, let's be honest, they could, but they don't want to just go, actually, yeah, let's just put shocks in every precon, because, excuse me, if they did that, Ravnica Remastered wouldn't sell as much. It's coming out beginning of next year, because that's big selling point of that set is the shocks in it. So I wonder if they'll start putting the better lands in this once they've reprinted them several times and the value is down. So I won't be surprised if we started to see like Rhystic Study and Smothering Tithe coming out in precons at some point in the next year or two, because they have both been reprinted hella crazy over this last year. We've got a legendary land here. Sorry, back to the set. Galloping Council Chamber enters the battlefield. Surveil 1. Feed the Swarm. Another great piece of removal. Snuff Out. People have been kicking off about this art because it's like, oh, this is fine to reprint Snuff Out, but I don't like the art. It's like, buy an Altar Sleeve. Don't buy this version of the art then if you want to buy that card. You know, what can you do? This is how it got reprinted. It's a reprint. You know, at least it got reprinted. Commander Sphere. By the way, I don't think the art is the best either. Like, yes, that's meant to be a smile, but it looks like a dodgy moustache above a smile to me. But it's nice that they've got the mana symbols in the eyes. Commander Sphere, Wayfarer's Bauble. This is Mrs. Teleporter, which is looks like Captain Jack Harkness's teleporter. Oh, this is the other thing as well. Talents of Dominance, Talents of Indulgence, and where's the other one? Is the other one in here? Is the other one in here? Oh, it's not, is it? Oh no, it's in that other precon. It's in that other precon. Just, we need it. We need it. We need it in this one. We need the creativity one in here. We need the blue and red one in here. Like, why didn't you do it? Why didn't you do it? just finish it off. But yeah, like if they'd done the lands, the Mono Horizon 1 lands and printed all 3 versions, printed all the 3 talismans, this deck would be so much better out of the box. Like, there's quite a few like high-costed cards, like Missy is 6, you know, there's another 5, there's another 6-drop, so that's 3 already. I don't really like to go above 4 drops really in my decks these days. There's another 6 there, 7, another 5, there's another 5, there's a double X there, you know, there's another 4, 5, 6, you know, there's another X spell, there's another 6, there's another 5, you know, there's another 5, 4, 4, 4, another X spell, another 7, like another 7 drop there, 6 drop there, 6 drop there, 8, 9 drop, yeah, that's probably only actually 1 in reality. But yeah, there's a lot on the high end. Like if they'd have just, that's like what, 1 talisman and then 2 extra Modern Horizon 1 land. And then if they got rid of these 2 as well, they could make space, getting rid of those lands to fill that in. Then there would have only been 35 lands in the deck. So they potentially could have cut another card somewhere else. I think 36 lands is good. Shall I look at some of these tokens? Command Tower. Which Doctors is this? Don't know which Doctors. It's an old Doctor one. Throw in more. Temple of the False God. They go, activate any control 5 or more lands. When half the lands are coming in taps, do you really want this? It's like, yeah, I guess if you're ramping out a lot. I mean, I have a Temple of False Gods in my Gishath deck, but that's the only deck that I've got it in. So yeah, like, how many basics have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 basics. Oh, there's the crazy shiny Dalek token. Dalek, or the artboard one. Then in terms of tokens, these are all double-sided. So we've got treasures, clues, alien angels, clues, Mark of the Rani, Cybermen. Only 2 Cybermen. There's a small Cyberman on this side. Mark of the Rani is on the back of a Cyberman. Then we've got some Daleks. Then we've got a copy, another Cyberman, some more Daleks, and another copy. Okay. So yeah, so not bad little deck. I'm going to enjoy playing it. The reason I've opened this one first and not the other one is because I want to sleeve this one up and play this tomorrow night. I want to give it a good couple of games, playing it out the box as is before I fully commit to whether I'm going with Davros or Missy. My heart kind of wants to do this one for the flavour, and I just absolutely love the chaoticness of Missy. And I also think she will be an absolute nightmare in a sacrifice everything deck. But I feel like people will hate me less if I play Davros. So maybe I should play Davros. And he also can generate some immediate value on his end step. It's more competitive in the terms that it's 4 mana. And it would allow me to stay on theme more with playing more of the actual cards from this deck. And whereas Missy I'd have to optimise more with cards from outside of Magic. Or maybe I should just keep a precon in one piece and just keep it as a precon altogether. Who am I kidding? That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. Right, shall we open this collector booster? I don't know if we can get serialized cards in this or not. I guess we'll find out. Oh, special way to open these. Oh, apparently not, because that's the foil layer. trying not to rely on the strength of the cards to be able to pull the pack open. There we go. I think I just bent them a little bit. Oh my god. How much glue's on that? Jesus. Let's just slide these out. Right. Makeover montage for your Commander deck. Let's see what we've got. We've got the 7th Doctor in the TARDIS frame. Whenever he attacks, choose a card in your hand. Defending player guesses. Oh, this is the one the Doctor played on his Shuffle Up and Play with Gavin. And the next one is Time Reaper in full art. Oh no, sorry, it's not full art, it's extended art. You see it's black on these sides down here, whereas and black across the top, whereas the full art would go slightly over that. Completely pointless version of the art, in my opinion. Just full art or back to the frames. Whenever Time Reaper deals combat damage to a player, put target face-up card they own in exile on the target face-up card they own in exile on the bottom of their library. If you do, you gain 3 life. This is interesting as well because it targets cards that they've got in exile. We're starting to see more and more now that exile is becoming a third hand, so to speak, because you have your hand, your graveyard is your second hand, and exile is now becoming almost like a third hand. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with that over time. I might even do a video on that specifically. But yeah, that's the pack. That's everything in it. We got nothing. I'm going to put all these in. I might even put them in the special box and take it to the game store and those when I sleep them up. But yeah, that's the deck in its entirety. Whether I go with Davros or Missy, I don't 100% know yet. I think maybe I'll do Davros. My partner keeps telling me that I shouldn't play Daleks because they're a race of genocide haters. Genocide haters? The race that hates other races so they commit genocide. Yeah. They're not nice people. They're full of hatred. But as they constantly point out, so is the Doctor towards them. Conundrums. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. It's a bit of a long ramble. But yeah, this is what's in the deck. I'm quite looking forward to playing with these cards. I think there's some really good cards in the set. That 2 mana turn something over, I think it could be a good removal card, good choice for things going forward. I think some of these copiers, there you go, Cyber Conversion, the Auton Soldier, I think these just could be, so this deals with things people playing from exile, which we're seeing more and more people do. Yeah, target creature's owner shuffles it into their library. Faces a villainous choice. They lose 5 life or they shuffle another creature they own into their library. Goodbye, Rory. That's obviously a representation of Amy going in after him as well. But yeah, for 4 mana, that's quite a lot. But still, I mean, it puts them into their library, which is a lot better than into exile or well, maybe not into exile, into the graveyard. Veelyard, yeah. I think there's another spell, 1 and blue. Might be in the Timey-Wimey deck, which is seems like a pretty good piece of removal. Yeah, it must be in the Timey-Wimey deck because these are all the lands and the artifacts. So yeah, I think it's going to be pretty good. I think it's going to be pretty good fun. As I've played more with it and I had got some games, hey, get to Plane Shift. I'll give a more in-depth review as I break it apart and I start to build it in a particular way. I did look at getting some cards for the Timey-Wimey one the other day, but I'm not going to go into that. Anyway, like I was saying, I'm waffling. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks for all your support. I appreciate your help, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye for now.